Hello again. Welcome back to KSP Science Mode, part 10, I think. Just waiting for the game to load. There we go. Yeah, so like last time we managed to successfully return from M.O.E.S and got a load of science and unlocked a load of parts, and we basically built a space station to go around the moon. Which we're going to be trying to launch today, and then hopefully launching a lander, a reusable lander, so that we can start harvesting science from the moon, like, big time. But yeah, so without further ado, we could also probably go and try and get Orbit maybe back as well, when we get a chance. So yeah, so before we launch anything, I want to just double check that we've got everything right with the station before we actually kick it off. So if we open rules, there we go, there's M.O.E.S. Let's double check something. Well, first of all, I was thinking we could probably add a bit more to the abort stage here. Because we now have Separatrons, and Separatrons can help us out. Right, where are they gone? Yeah, we want those to go along with this. Just gives us a bit more delta V in this section. I'm assuming there's no horrendous conflicts there. That's cool. Double check our action groups. Make sure the abort has. Yeah, we still have those. We haven't put in the engine shutdown here. So we want to do that. I think I might modify this so that the default is for stations, and then and then this becomes essentially the ship, because yeah, because there's a lot of like things like RCS and stuff, which is SAS control, which are technically bound to the default action group. So when you hit the overrides default thing, you basically lose the ability to turn on SAS, etc., and it's just kind of annoying. So I'm thinking if we switch this around so that, like, going forward we use action group 1 for ships that we intend to dock to space stations, so that we only activate that stuff when we actually want to. So we want the default one to be for the stations, and then where's it gone? There it is. Toggle antenna. I believe this was so we want that ladder to toggle there. What have we got under custom 2? Nothing. Custom 3? Nothing. Custom 4. Custom 9 is our navigation lights. So where are these gone? They are somewhere here, aren't they? Toggle these. Toggle these. I think that should be everything, and then stations will become ships, which won't override default. Let me put all of our ship-based ones in here. I don't think there is anything else going on there. I could put that one in there as well. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to check. So we shall save this. Double check our staging as well actually, so yeah, clamps, all these go off, then these separate with the separatrons, then these separate with these separatrons. This is an interesting one. I kind of get the impression we're probably going to want that's firing up an engine before a decoupler. I think this needs to go down here, and we want to be hitting our. See, those go. Then, hopefully, we get into space. We get rid of this. Then we hit this decoupler. Then hopefully we jettison all of this stuff at the top. And this is all in case of emergency. There is also one other thing I need to do with the action groups, and that is to add these to the abort group, not in here, in default. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let's save. We need to find some. We need to get some Kerbals to populate this thing. Obviously, we're sending up with Kerbals on board, so we're going to need to shoot off to the astronaut complex and hire some Kerbals, because we don't have that many, and these guys are gonna basically be living around the moon for a while. So ideally, I want a couple of scientists, so because there's 2 seats in the lab for scientists, and a pilot and an engineer, like at a minimum, probably a couple of pilots. But at least for this one, we'll take one. We'll hire 1 scientist and a pilot, and there aren't any engineers, so I'm wondering why there aren't any engineers. Is there a way of refreshing that? Lots of scientists and not many engineers. I wonder if we can. I'm not sure how you can how this refreshes, but I guess we'll have to wait. We don't have to send an engineer up today. We can send one up later on, when hopefully we can actually hire one. Like, we're not going to want an engineer until we want to install more stuff. So we can make do without for now. So I'll send up a pilot and a scientist with this launch. It's daylight, so I feel like we're fine. So yeah, we want our new guys in here. So Bardard and Mikrid are new. I think these are our new hires. So let's pop them in and then put them where we want them to be. So we want him in here, which is our. This is the Mark 1 free command pod is our escape thing. Actually, sorry, scratch that. There's one other thing I want to do in here. We can sort out our crew, etc. from in here. I was wanting to what cargo we might want. Cargo parts, because we have EVA repair kits, which will be useful. We also have not only EVA science, but EVA fuel cylinders and like extra jetpacks might be useful as well. So. Okay, yeah, of course these don't stack. Probably already bought the full kills. Extra jetpack in case we need it. Take another stack of these, actually, while we're going. You never know when you might need them. And then any EVA science experiment's going to go on the lander when we launch that. So I think that'll do. Right, so crew. We don't want Jeb. We want Bardard and Mickfrid, and we want them to be in the safety of the Mark III command pod when we launch, rather than being anywhere else. Cool. Let's see how this thing handles. I almost certainly have forgotten something, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. There we go. So SAS, full throttle. Get a nice view. This is very long. This is a very, very long boy. But let's see how we go. Taking us a while to. We are gaining speed, but we are very, very shallow in our ascent. Not sure if this might have gone a bit too aggressive on the gravity turn there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think this is going to work, so I think we're going to slow down and attempt an abort. That did not go exactly to plan, but we should be okay. Let's just okay, they are alive, which is the important thing. Okay, I think we'll try that again, but be a bit less aggressive on the gravity turn next time. Because essentially we were quite low in the atmosphere and going very, very fast, and we're just losing speed to drag. Very, very gradual slowing down. seems like it's usually fine to just time warp down. Okay, so there's one thing to note is that I forgot to put the deployment of the fairing in the abort thing, so they end up getting trapped inside the fairing when they try to abort, which I'm going to have to fix. And then yeah, I'm going to try that launch again, but this time not be so aggressive on the gravity turn, because I'm guessing we need to get higher above the atmosphere before we try doing that. Yeah, there we go. Pick the right one. Cool. Let's let's make some adjustments. And cool. So yeah, this main thing is the action group abort. We need to deploy this fairing when we abort. And again, otherwise, again, we should have sufficient delta V, I think, to get out of the atmosphere to get into orbit. So I think, yeah, if we just let's double check our thrust to weight 1.35, 1.62, 1.18 at that stage, which isn't great, but it's not the end of the world. Double check our crew allocation is right. Yep. Okay, let's try that again. Take two. We'll save it first, and then we shall launch. Okay, right. Two. I'll be a bit less aggressive on the gravity turn this time. Okay, we can start doing the gravity turn about now. Just hold it there. And then hold prograde like that. Okay, so we're getting up to about like 50 seconds to apoapsis, which is what we want. So we can start like trying to keep the apoapsis about a minute away. So we basically like, so we're not fighting the atmosphere as much if we go this way. It's a bit wobbly, but. Get ready for separation soon. At which point we yeah, I think it's quite wobbly. It's quite long, you see. I'm gonna hope that's not gonna become too much of a problem. Like maybe turn off the gimbal here. It's already quite wobbly, but I don't want to deploy the fairing just yet because we might have an issue. Oh, yeah, we can. Basically, that like now that our apoapsis is up, like the closer we burn to apoapsis, the more of our velocity will be going into pushing our periapsis down. So I'll probably like let the but yeah, we're almost into orbit because we're on the -165. So what we'll do is we will get that up to like 60, and then we'll complete our getting into orbit. Periapsis site's about to go positive. Okay, so get that to about like 50, and then we'll do our staging. Okay, well we ran out of juice, so that works. We're nearly in orbit. Deploy that. Must forget that we need to do it. Well, once we're in orbit, we'll we shall wait till we get to apoapsis. We should have enough juice to burn at apoapsis to get us just the last bit into orbit. We'll raise our periapsis just above like 75, I think. Then we'll loop around back to apoapsis, do our ejection of this section. Probably just get ourselves 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 75 kilometers. We should remain nicely in orbit now. So let's get ready for our crew transfer. We shall focus camera, aim camera here. Extend ladder. Okay, so we're safely in orbit now, so we don't need to worry too much about. We'd have plenty of all the time in the world to do this. I don't think we'll have enough to get no, but what we can do is we can cool. This is our scientist, so we'll stick him in the thing. We'll put our pilot in the compiler module. Right, I think you can board through a ladder. Yeah, you can. Cool. So, Bardard, who is she is in the compiler module. Our scientist is currently living it up. Macfred is in the hitchhiker module. So let's try pointing this bad boy retrograde. Actually, having said that, actually no, let's go back to prograde, because prograde here around our apoapsis is going to be retrograde. I don't know, we're currently, hang on, let's just double check. We've just gone past our apoapsis, so we want to be pointing retrograde because we want to do our detachment at our apoapsis. So let's point retrograde and time warp around. And I believe the next thing is, yeah, all of these. And then and this should conclude our and we don't really care so much about this because there's nobody in it. Wibbly wobbly wibbly wobbly. Do a time warp to stop that. And then let's warp to here. Actually, I think we warp to here. Let me do it, and then we can turn around and circularize. Would be the plan. Okay. So wibbly. That is the wrong one. Good to know it works. We want to switch this to ships so that we can then deploy these. Ah. Well, actually, we can just do that again because these don't retract. But yeah, we just passed apoapsis. Oh no, we're 50 seconds away from apoapsis. So I reckon we can probably just circularize ourselves here. Just eyeball it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 9, 6, 9, 7, that's fine. Got no problem with that. So we are in orbit. This thing should hopefully be on a re-entry path, but you know, you can never really. I imagine like sometimes it won't even. It'll like this thing should have re-entered the atmosphere, but like in time warp etc. It usually doesn't do it until yeah, you have to go actually like see it in flight. But anyway, we want to go to the moon. I think we'll go and try and retrieve this now because we have the launch clamp at some point. It's around about there. Perhaps let's fine tune this. 75 kilometers is probably about what we want. I was thinking about 100k. To give us a little nice lot of room. We start our burn in a. It was quite a long burn. Eight minutes to burn. That's not too bad actually. We can fine tune that on the way and then bring ourselves in for a nice equatorial orbit. Cool. So if we do this and point ourselves to maneuver. This will be quite a long burn. But it's worth pointing where we want to go before we do a time warp. Reaction wheels in this thing. Toggle torque. Can we disable torque? Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It does seem to calm down after after you stop doing a maneuver. 7, 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 1, and begin burn. And hope it remains relatively stable. Here it is, our target, our new home. Getting close to the end of the burn here. Start. Three, 2, 1. Okay. Let's see what the result is. Our periapsis is 83,000, which again, like we were wanting about 100, so we can quite nicely try and get a. There we go. No, not orbit. Maybe we want. There we go. Add a maneuver there, and then start making our adjustments. So we want to first adjust to try and intercept to the equator. Yeah. There we go. Right. Up a bit. Up a bit. Up. Actually, that'd be about right. Then. That reduces it, this increases it, 93, 105. One hundred 100.006. That is a 0.4-second burn. That shouldn't take too much to. That's quite a yeah. And then if we don't do anything, we end up leaving Kerbin. So this is actually a slingshot around the moon at the moment. But yes, let's adjust our throttle here to give us a better control of our burn. 3 seconds still not great. 6 seconds. 9 seconds, that'll do. Is this no crossfeed, this is entirely coming from this tank. Like the decoupler normally prevents crossfeed unless you specify otherwise. We wind up with enough fuel left in here that we just keep this attached for the time being and use it to refuel the lander. Cool, and now 59 minutes to the burn. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2. That'll be 131. That ain't bad. So our next port of order is a circularization here. That'll do, I think. So that's a 16-minute and 21-second burn, which is quite a long time. So we need to up this to 100 to see what it is. It's 39 seconds, which is not bad at all. Right. Here we come. Seconds to go. perhaps 97.97. It's about right, but I wouldn't mind that being a little higher. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Actually, we can reduce this down a bit, just to give us a bit more fine-tuned control over our periapsis and apoapsis. What we're going to do is just gonna wait till we get around to periapsis. And by wait, I mean time off a bit. I want to try and get that 0.01 down, but I think I'll be happy with that. And then we wait till we get around to apoapsis, and we will point stability of this because we're going to be we'll end up pointing the direction we want to go. Just to raise periapsis just a smidge above 100. Yeah. Hit prograde. And 100.78, that will do nice. That is a fairly circular orbit. Cool, right, the question is, do I want to leave this thing attached and use the fuel at a later point for landers, or do I want to detach it and get rid of it and just have our Munar base? I feel like for aesthetics, I'm gonna just get rid of it. Again, we're on science mode. We can always launch more fuel where we want to go. I don't need to conserve fuel so much. Like in a career save, I'd leave this attached until we've used most of the fuel in it, and then get rid of it. But this is science mode, so who cares? So in theory, if we there we go. I use that to back away. Make sure we're on default there. There we go. Station in orbit around the moon. I think we'll leave it pointing at normal. Yeah, fear will be at 1. I think it's 1, isn't it? Yeah, 1 will extend the ladder. If we ever need to look around, we can. I believe 9 was the navigation lights, wasn't it? Yeah, there we go. Yellow for the bottom. Blue for the top. I know it's actually saved the colour as well. with that. Let's turn off those. Retract that ladder because we don't need it at the moment. Cool, let's return to this debris. And we'll get it out of the orbit, at least for now. Actually, we'll retrograde it because we'll lower its orbit and then we'll crash it at some later point. Again, no need to crash it now. We can wait until we've landed with a science kit, deployed science kit. What we can do is we can drop this nice down to like, oh, it's a low number, like 30 or something. Goodbye, moon station. I want to set up some Commnet as well, actually, because I think now we should get Commnet bounced from here, but we might not. We have limited probe control, which I believe means that we only have like full on and full off, I think. We do need to set up some Commnet around the moon and M.O.E.S, especially if we're going to be like putting landers on it. I mean, we'll have a lander that we can have a pilot on, but if we want some engineering stuff down, I'd rather have probe cores. But yeah, that'll do. We'll leave that there until we want to get rid of it. But yeah, okay, we don't have any data in here yet, so there's no real need to. We check the power. Yeah, electric charge is fine. But yeah, there you go. Right, don't think there's much else to do. Maybe like setting up Commnet's an idea. I could start. I think we've got enough parts to do a Kerbin Commnet system. Let's have a look, see what we got. Start with hex. What's our best communication dish at the moment? That's that one, which again, 50 Gs. That'll be fine for like local transmission. So let's stick one of these on here. Couple of power, couple of these. Probably don't need much more than these. Right. Let's do a vacuum delta around Kerbin. And we need a... Do we have the tiny fuel tanks yet? Yeah, we do. Well, a donut. Maybe not. That. Have we got a tiny engine? Maybe a Twitch. Maybe a Twitch or a Spark's probably a... Spark might do. Oh yeah. 1,000 meters per second. 2.91 delta speed, that should be fine. Thrust limiter, no, we want bare mount. There you go. So this is basically going to be our little communication satellite. Pop this in orbit, and this is relay antenna, which basically lets us relay our signal to and from Kerbin. Basically, this means we can control probe cores, etc. So I mean, I'll probably like stick 4 of these in orbit around Kerbin, and then some more around the Munar and M.O.E.S to give us maybe set us up some Commnet. Do we have a TD06? We do. TD06 decoupler. Let's stick that on there. There you go. And we essentially just make this sub-assembly, and we will build a ship that will carry a load of these into orbit. We could probably do like everything in one go. I imagine we probably. And these things aren't very massive. 0.7 tons. I reckon we could do the whole Kerbin system Commnet in one launch. In a single launch, I think. So let's bring up our sub-assembly. Yeah, there's a little satellite on there. There we go. Yeah. Oh, we need to reroute. So we can attach from there. There we go. There's RA2 with an RA2 ComSat, I believe. Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, RA2 ComSat. There you go. We don't need this anymore because we are now going to build the bad boy that's going to launch all this. So my usual launch system involves a 2.5 meter service bay, which will contain our primary probe core. That's the point, actually. Before we do that, I forgot to do something with the sub-assembly. There we go. We need to adjust this so that the vessel naming is relay sat, and we set this down to the lowest naming priority. Actually, the name priority 2. Accept that. Bin this. Drop this in here again, just to update it. RA2 ComSat. There we go. Right, now we can start looking at our main our launch platform. So this thing. Stick all of our do manage files in here. So hex under here. Pop one of these down here. Some RCS is probably useful for fine tuning orbits. So I'll put in I'll see if I can fit an RCS tank in here. Will I go there? I reckon that fits. We'll stick some power in here. Lots of again, don't need massive amounts of power. Couple of these. Close this up. That should be everything we need, aside from a communication thing. Again, we don't necessarily need one too powerful. We're not going very far. This thing is going to have. So this is where we're going to build our. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to. So we need to build this in stages. So we need. Plan is to have 3 sats around the moon, 3 sats around M.O.E.S, which is what we're going to do later, and then 4 sats around Kerbin. So I think if we do a 6 and then a 4, so we're going to Kerbin orbit. We launch our 4, get our four satellites in Kerbin orbit, like go into a nice high orbit, like 1,000 meters or something, 1,000 kilometers, something like that. Do the thing. Yeah. So assume that we. Well, it's like the Rocket Max brand adapter. So if we stick a TD12 tube there, make this medium long for now, and then we look at not quite that. So we want 6 of these, and we probably want it a little bit further out. So I'm thinking like a cubic octagonal strut like this. And then I think this is going to be the actually we'll stick a decoupler like that. So this is going to be stage 1. Let's grab our separatrons over here. Stick them like that, and then this entire assembly goes. Then we stick a like cubic octagonal struts here. Right, so it's like normally what I'd do is I'd go, there's a website you can go to where you can basically figure out what orbits you need to insert comsats at a particular separation in an orbit of a particular size. But I'm just going to eyeball it because it's fine. So essentially my plan at the moment is to eyeball it by essentially doing it by the orbital period, because that's essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to adjust your orbital period so that it's a top-heavy fraction of the period of the actual target orbit, and then essentially like each time you pass the periapsis, you release a satellite and adjust back to a circular orbit, and that way you get them nicely spaced out. That's the plan at least. So, coupling, TD060 decoupler, which we want to pop here, and we can remove these from staging so that we don't have a problem. Although we want to remove them all from staging, which you'd think that they would reflect, because the idea is we're going to be doing one of these one at a time. I also want to reduce the force percent. I think the force percent is reflected, whereas apparently the advanced tweakables are not, which is amazing. Having said that, we don't want the actually no, yeah, because there's one of these on each sub-assembly. So there you go, like that. Nice and cozy. Oh yeah, so these are the 6. It's a little bit longer, and then Yeah, let's not do that. We've now, oh yeah, we want to configure this leading from this thing, which is the Kerbin Commnet deployment probe name priority. Oh, it's a ship, so we'll put it in name priority 10. Accept. Close. These don't need to be retractable. Actually, I could have added the. I could have made added the. It doesn't really matter if they're retractable. But yeah, I could have used the deploy once ones. Actually, I think I might do. Yeah, let's get rid of this for now. Let's save this as it currently is. Let's fine-tune this. So this, we want to replace this with the deploy once panels, because we only need to deploy them once. There you go. We'll change this so we disable the staging and force percent to 0. Modify the action groups. We'll do set 4 for satellites. Custom 0 to extend these. There we go. Build sub-assemblies. Can I just drop this in and name it the same thing and have it overwrite? Overwrite, there we go. Okay, slightly better version. Right, let's open our concept deployment again. Drop these onto here. There we go. So that's our 6 for the moon and M.O.E.S. We then stick another 4 in the next stage. So we add a decoupler here, and then we add another structural tube. Don't need this one to be as long, but we'll make it a medium length. We take this, we make this a four. We add our separatrons wherever they've gone, which are in engines, I believe. Separatrons to here. A5 of this. And then we'll add add like a top stage here, which is essentially like just to make sure that these things. Actually, we could probably remove these in staging, but well, I'm not sure you can. No, you can. Let's leave these in a top stage so they never get accidentally staged. And then make sure it's set to Kerbin. Yep. We have our make things look nice. We have a structural top thing here. We can also maybe strut these up a bit. Just the one, I think. I don't necessarily need two. Just to secure them to the secure them a bit better to their columns. So this is going to be our our thingamajig, which essentially the fairing will close around, just for a bit of stability. So we grab a div beam. I'll do. Actually, that'll be long enough. Actually. That short tube aerodynamics. There we go. Nose cone. And then the more separatrons. Everything is separatrons. So these separatrons will go when this goes, which will just get rid of our Lord stage. Actually, we do want this to be. Actually, no, we can close it around the actual cap. So let's have a look. So we want like lots of delta V. We want lots of delta V in this thing. Well, it's about 900 to get to M.O.E.S. Obviously, we want to mess around in Kerbin orbit, then go to the moon, then go to M.O.E.S, which we're going to try and do a transfer window for. Because, yeah, this kind of works. So we want a nice big amount of delta V, but we don't want to go too mad. So I'm thinking maybe if we try one of these with let's go with one of these, poodle, and we add this down here, add this down here, it's 1680, which is not great. Maybe we can do better. Well, it's not thrust to weight ratio like that. 1.23. So maybe we can do that. Try an engine plate. Triple attach nodes. Let's try 3 of the Terrier engines. But 1656. Okay. Again, TWR is 0.89. I think the poodle with bigger tank. Stop putting it in there. 2600. Again, thrust to weight ratio of 0.86. Should be enough, I think. Let's we're not docking or anything, so we only really need these things to really go 2 directions. I think you can get a bi-directional variant. Orthogonal 4-horn, orthogonal 3-horn, orthogonal 2. There we go. For orthogonal 2-horn, we only want to be able to go. We always make like fine adjustments to our orbit forward and back, like prograde and retrograde with these. We're not doing any like advanced maneuvering. 2649. Can we add a bit more to that? I'd rather get that up to 3000 if we can. 2800 with a phosphate ratio of 0.79. Fuel tank. That gets us over 3,000. Again, yeah. Oh wait, we're not in vacuum. No, we are in vacuum. Okay, yeah. Thrust ratio is not amazing, but again, like, we don't necessarily care too much. We want to be doing fine adjustments to orbit. Anyway, we're not trying to escape Kerbin, so 3,000 delta V should be plenty for what we want to do. So let's get this bad boy into orbit. T85 decoupler, payload fairing. Okay, the staging is so confused. You in an entirely new thing here. Oh yeah, we don't need these anymore. Want to reduce these 40% because we don't want the ejection to adjust our orbit. The separatrons will take care of it for us. So this thing goes, these go. Although having said that, these will probably be going. Yeah, they're probably going relatively straight, like relatively soon. Like we'll probably don't like these probably won't even get us to the moon. Then this top one wants to be going. Actually, this wants to go relatively soon after this point. Then this thing goes, and these things go. Yeah. Cool. So this currently weighs 43 tons. Let's set this to sea level so that we're using the worst assumptions for our engines. Save what we have so far. Yeah, so we want fuel tank. There we go. Start with one of these. What are you doing? The thing's staging, it's very, very confused. Okay, 1308 with a thrust to weight ratio of 1.64, which is kind of good. 1308 is obviously not quite enough to get us into orbit, so I'm thinking we do a two. Like this is probably gonna be our first stage. We'll do a second stage as well with a skipper. See what happens. So skipper gives us again when it's done being just so confused. $781. T25. $1,345 with a thrust to weight ratio of 0.7. No, it's not good. Need more engine, I think. What have we got? So this is a 650. I don't think there's any that are better than that, are there? $1308, 164. So we've got fairly decent at ground level. When in doubt, chuck some SRBs on the sides. Yep. Yeah, so where are the SRBs gone? They keep putting them in very strange places. There we go. These need to be going in the he keeps adding everything to stage like 5 for some reason. No. Here. Right. It's 2700. We're nearly there. Maybe with some bigger solid rocket boosters. Do you want Thoroughbred or Pollux, maybe? Yeah, Pollux is the next like one up. What happens if these go in there at the stage? 4.4. It is 61308. That's looking more like we're in business. Okay. Let's strut these up and add some Cybertrons. Aerodynamics. That's too big. There you go. Yeah. Where are these going? Put these in this stage, and then hopefully everything will kick off at the same time. Cool, and then all these go, that engine goes, and this engine, then the fairing, and this stuff. We also need the wing. We also need the fins at the bottom. Make sure that we don't or if the center of mass is even gone. There it is. Okay, and I have a feeling we're going to have very limited avionics control, so I'm wondering if we actually not in here. Let's just stick a structural tube. And let's stick a big ass wheel in here. Just give us a bit more turning control. Cool, launch clamps. So slightly above the ground. Okay, we're not sending any Kerbals up on this, so we don't need to worry too much about abort procedures. So we just need to make sure that everything is done here. So these go at the same time as these. Then this engine fires up. All of these go, so these separate. Then this separates, this engine fires up. Then hopefully we're out of the atmosphere, payload bearing goes. We fire off this engine. We get rid of the cap. I think getting rid of the cap should go before, like just after the payload bearing, because that's all we really need it for. And then we have all this stuff which, like, tanks number 1 and 2, tanks number 3 and 4, and hopefully that's enough to get us where we need to go. And I guess it's a reverse. So if this thing crashes and burns, then we'll watch it go all the way down, because we don't need to worry about saving kernels from this one. So let's quickly shoot off here and see what time it is. It is daylight, so we've got that going for us. Kerbin Commnet deployment. Launch vessel. No idea how this thing's going to handle. SAS, I guess throttle to maximum, because we're not going to be using it. Like, we have a fixed throttle at the moment. But yeah. We're quite far away from Polaris. reduce this down to about 30 seconds for our purposes. Maybe I'll do, let's rotate to, actually let's, okay, so first order of business is to control locked. Oh, we need to. No, double check we actually did this for. We did not. Toggle solar panel. I don't think this is deploying, does it? No, it doesn't. I'm guessing there is a limited connection to the no signal. Why is this? I'm guessing there's no maybe we're not. Maybe we're not within view of the KSC. That's fine. We can do our orbital maneuvers when we're like near it. Oh, yeah, we can't have maneuvers yet. Okay, let's warp to. Well, let's warp until we're over a signal. Till we get a signal. Cool. We have a signal now. So let's sort out our. So let's try our maneuvers when we're here. So let's aim for about go for like 3 megameters. Let's check our maneuver. What orbital inclination is. Can we add a bit of that to? So inclination is, that's going up. We want to go down. I'm going to try and get equatorial if we can. Okay, no, we're in 0.1 degrees of orbit. And Apple apps is, yeah, that'll do. 3085 of 3.0085 megameters. Alright, let's hope we can do this. We still have direct link, which is good. Let's hope we don't lose that. Once we've deployed the first communication satellite, we should start getting better connection from Kerbin. We've got 46. We'll see if we can do the Kerbin Commnet and get ourselves on the way to the moon before we finish. There we go. Alright, let's see. We've still got connection to the thing, so let's see if we can't circularize ourselves here. Okay, let's go way further. Try and get this as circular as possible. I'll do. The idea is to create a circular orbit here, and then basically taking a note of the orbital period here, which is 1 day, which I believe is 6 hours and 21 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to create an orbit which has an orbital period of that plus 25%. So essentially we'll do, so essentially like anything on this circular orbit will do 1.25 orbits in the time it takes us to do one of the insertion orbits. Was essentially the idea. So, 6 hours, 21 minutes, plus 25% is, well, if it was 6 hours, I mean, 21 minutes and 20 seconds is, well, we can work out the 25% of that in a minute. 6 hours, 25% of is 1.5 hours. So 1.5 hours plus 25% of 2120, which is 5 plus, 5 plus, hello Mr. Blue. You're just coming in at the, the last probably 10 or so minutes of the stream, but you're welcome nonetheless. 20 minutes, 25% of 20 is 5, 25% of 1 minute is 15 seconds, so 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and then 25% of 20 seconds is 5, so this would be 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So so it'd be 1 day, 1 hour, 35 minutes, and I'm just going to write this down because I'm going to forget it. So we've got 1 hour and 23 before our burn, and hopefully we'll actually be able to do the burn because because at the moment we don't have our satellites in range yet, so we might not be in communication range with the KSC when we do this. So essentially, what we have to do is we have to wait for our arrival at that node to coincide with being able to do maneuver. But again, once we start putting these satellites in range, we should be fine. We should be better off. I mean, alternatively, I could have sent a pilot up in this thing to do it, but I didn't want to risk that. So so 1 hour, 1 day. So 1 day, 0, 21 minutes, 20 seconds. Assuming we managed to match this up exactly. We get 25% which is 6 hours. So that's 1.5 hours. 5 minutes, and we said 5 minutes, and then 1 minute 15 plus 20. So so 1.5 hours is 1 hour, 35 minutes, 20 seconds added on to this. So the 1 day, 1 hour, 56 minutes and 40 seconds is the orbital period we'd be looking for. If, assuming we manage to hit this maneuver exactly, but it doesn't need to be super exact. I mean, so let's point ourselves towards the maneuver node before we and let's try warping to the maneuver and seeing if we have Commnet. If we don't, then we'll add an orbit to the maneuver, and actually we can't because I think we have. It's basically like a massive dark zone at the moment, like here. So I'm thinking of that's still in orbit. This is the full. This is 43.8. Just want to make sure, in case I need to redo the. In case I need to redo the node, because I think we might be out of. No, we're still okay. Cool. This will work then. I've left a lot of garbage in orbit, which will need to be cleared up. But yes, assuming we can do this, let's have this like that so that we can see what's going on, because we're going to be staging during this burn. Space. There. Orbital period of exactly 1 day, 21 minutes, 20 seconds, which is what we have done our calculation based on. So we still have we still have contact with the space center at the moment. So there should be a case of yeah, so the advantage at the moment now is that there's only a 21-minute difference, so everything on Kerbin at the moment will be about the same place when we come round to this point in the orbit again. So plan B, I think, is to say add here a maneuver. And we want to aim for an orbital period of 1:56:40. So just looking at the orbital period at the bottom and just adjusting this to the orbital period is what I want it to be. Two, 4, 5, 6, 11, 32, 54. So let's reduce this scale down. 48. We want 43. 41, 39, 40. There we go. So 1, 1, 5, 6, 40. In theory, this should have an orbital period of 1.25 times this circular orbit. So what we do is we wait till we get around here, we do this injection burn, then we go around the orbit, and every time we reach periapsis, we detach one of these little satellites, we deploy its solar panels, and we it's got a little engine on it, and we use the little engine on the satellite to essentially burn retrograde until we reach this orbital period again. So let's make a note of the. Yeah, actually, I've already written down 1 day. Yeah. So basically, we burn retrograde until we hit that orbital period again, and then that's basically what we do. And once we've done that 4 times, we should have 4 satellites roughly evenly spaced around Kerbin in this circular orbit. And after that point, pretty much anywhere we are around Kerbin, we should have a direct connection to somewhere, because yeah, this is somewhere on the Kerbal Space Center. So again, so we're just coming on 2 hours. So I'm thinking if we do the, actually to be fair, we've just covered 2 hours. Obviously our maneuvers in, just under, like, in our maneuver is for a while, so I think we could probably do the rest of this. We'll do this, setting up this Commnet, like, next time on Thursday evening, and then we'll go to the moon and basically do all the setting up this Commnet now. And I'll leave. I'll try and leave this at exactly 2 minutes, because I think if we start doing it now, we're only going to get like the first orbit, or first couple of orbits, because it takes a good like 10 minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes to do each satellite. So I feel like it's probably better if we do the whole thing next time, and then at some point we'll go and get this. I'll build something to go and I'll build a probe to come and grab this and just pull it out of orbit. I mean, I could just blow it up, but I don't want to do that. But I will go and blow up all this debris. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the Space Center. We'll leave that as it is. I'll just do some tidying up in the space in the tracking station before we end the stream. So tracking station. And then we will first of all get rid of this. Get rid of everything that's not debris. We have a couple of ships. Don't need to care about landers. So debris first of all. So this piece of debris, we will blow it up. Yep. This one. Yeah, this is staying in orbit, so we'll terminate this one. What about this one? This has an periapsis of, yep, that's not coming down anytime soon. Boom. This thing has a periapsis of, okay, that will, now let's just for the fun of it, let's fly this one until it explodes. It's not like particularly useful, but I mean, like in theory, this should have re-entered the atmosphere and burned up like years. Should have burned up like many orbits ago, but because like it doesn't apply the aerodynamic physics until you're actually flying it. So in theory, when this one goes around again, we're just to make sure it's not gonna. Yeah, 60 minutes away from periapsis, so I think we have time to land this before we risk missing our maneuver node with the other thing. So yeah, let's just walk around to re-entry and just watch this thing go down. There we go. We have no control over this because there's no probe core on it. We're just going to watch it crash into the ground. And we'll speed up physics walk because I don't really care if the Kraken kills it. So it could be down on the nighttime side, so there's probably not be a lot to see actually. But we can't go to the space center when we're actually in atmospheric flight, so we have to watch it all the way down. Look at it go. We'll start getting some over. Yeah, there we go. So getting some flams. Well, not really flames. It is. Well, they kind of are flames. I mean, it is plasma, which is essentially what fire is. I mean, nothing is burning. It's just. I mean, I guess like the fire that you see is like air plasma, that's sort of like electrons recombining and stuff, and that's what produces the light and fire. So in it, like obviously nothing is, in theory nothing is actually burning, but obviously like, the process of atmospheric compression and heating heats the air up, ionizes it, and then it recombines as it's flying past ice. I think that's like the physical process involved. So that's why it kind of looks like fire. Things may explode. It is certainly possible. The engine might go. If the engine is like by far the most heat resistant part, because obviously like it's meant to have fire going on inside it. So like what in the fuck? There we go. Yeah, enough. Like okay, that was yeah. I think when it exploded, this thing span and then became a lot more draggy, so it slowed down a lot quicker. And now it's just going to explode when it hits the ocean, I think. Yeah, but we're just going to miss the land. But now obviously it's just going like a dart now. There we go. Back to the tracking station. So that's essentially what would happen if you actually like watched it go down. But I mean, all right, we have this thing, which yeah, similarly this thing would. I mean, yeah, we've got a few minutes, and this thing's actually already in the atmosphere. So let's fly this. This has got a probe core as well, actually, so we could in theory land it. I say that. I mean, it's obviously like currently. Oh no, there's no power. I don't think. Yeah, I never deployed the solar panels because obviously we didn't need this. We got rid of it when See, this thing's not having a good time. I was like, oh god. Also, we just like rejoined it like at 40 kilometers. So this is a thick portion of the app. It's not actually that thick. Like it's getting thicker. No, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this even makes it to the ground. Like the capsule probably will. I don't think anything else will. This is proving quite survivable. I think it's because it's rotating. Yeah, I didn't retract the ladder before I got rid of it, so. Oh yeah, we can. Let's speed this up. The parachutes aren't staged or anything, so this thing is gonna like go careening into the ground, but But yeah, so essentially we'll watch this thing crash, and then we'll call it a stream, and yeah, we'll do the ComSat stuff do the ComSat thing on Thursday, and then if we have time, we'll build the moon lander and try and send it to the moon. Goodbye. Cool. Tracking station. That should be most of the debris gone now. Like we blew up most of it, but some bits we do actually manage to get to return to the atmosphere, and obviously like you're just gonna watch them go down. So yeah, there's no debris. These things should all be. I mean, orbit maybe. Yeah, we'll go get that one day. But yeah, let's reactivate landers and relays. That's what Commnet looks like at the moment. Yes, anyway, right, yes, I will call that an evening, I think. Let's save our game, and yeah, call that an evening. Yes, thanks for joining me right at the end. How you doing, Donut? Anyway, you kind of still recovering from yesterday. Ask. I'm not even sure if he's even still watching. Oh, I will. Yep, I'm gonna call it a stream there. So yeah, see people on Thursday, 6 o'clock is the plan. For more Kerbal Space Program. Cheerio.